2025. A year when a silent financial storm swept across the United States, a storm that didn't roar with thunder, but echoed in the lives of millions. The U.S. courts revealed a stunning truth. Bankruptcy filings in America have reached their highest level in 15 years. A wave of financial collapse not seen since the crisis of the late 2000s, but these numbers are not just statistics. They are stories. They are dreams collapsing. Prices kept rising, week after week, month after month. But wages stood still, savings evaporated. Groceries, rent, electricity, medicine, everything became harder to afford. Families began choosing between survival and sacrifice, between paying bills and buying food. The American household was under siege. Small businesses, the heart of local communities, started falling one by one. A family restaurant open for 3 generations, now dark, with a sign on the door reading, "Permanently closed." A repair shop that once kept an entire town running could no longer keep itself alive. Rising costs, fewer customers, shrinking profits. Every direction led to the same end. Thousands of shops, dreams, projects, quietly drowned in the rising tide of economic pressure. Startups, once symbols of hope and innovation, couldn't keep up. Bank loans became too expensive. Interest rates climbed higher and higher, and the cost of borrowing became the cost of breaking. Investors pulled back. New ideas died before they could breathe. And entrepreneurs watched their visions fade into piles of unpaid bills and impossible deadlines. Even Wall Street felt the tremors. Markets shook. Banks tightened their lending. Investors braced themselves. Every chart, every index started to speak the same language. Fear. America's economic pulse was beating out of rhythm. But behind every bankruptcy, there is a person, a soul, a story. A mother overwhelmed by medical debt. A shop owner closing his doors after 30 years. A young worker laid off without warning and left questioning his future. These are the stories that don't appear in official reports. Their tears don't show up in charts. Their struggles don't trend on social media, but they are real, and they are hurting. Yet, history shows us something powerful. America's strength has never been measured only in dollars, but in resilience, in the ability to fall and rise again. Every business that closed dreams of reopening. Every family that struggled fights to rebuild. Every setback plants the seed of a comeback. And maybe 2025 is another turning point, a moment of reflection, a warning, a test, a reminder that even the strongest nations must sometimes break so they can rebuild stronger. Because after every night, the sun rises again. And America, through crisis after crisis, has risen every single time. Stronger, smarter, more determined. This storm, too, will pass. And what comes after will define the future. 2025. A year that financial experts are calling a turning point in America's economic story. Across the country, bankruptcies have surged to levels not seen in 15 years. But according to economists, this moment didn't just appear out of nowhere. It's been building, slowly and silently, for more than a decade. Experts explain that American households have been living under rising pressure. We've seen inflation climb higher than wages, interest rates making borrowing nearly impossible, savings shrinking, and debt reaching historic highs. One analyst described it as a quiet squeeze, a slow tightening around families, businesses, and the entire financial system. Small businesses felt it first. Local shops that survived past recessions suddenly couldn't afford their rent. Restaurants that once served packed tables watched their customers disappear. Higher loan payments pushed them to the edge, and when they fell, they triggered a chain reaction. Business closures led to job losses, which led to even more financial strain. Market specialists say the signals were all there: a shaky stock market, unpredictable investor behavior, and a growing sense of fear. Banks pulled back on lending. Startups couldn't get the capital they needed to expand, and the economy began to lose the momentum it needed to stay alive. Economists warn that when confidence weakens, everything weakens. But financial experts are also sharing a different message, one of perspective and possibility. They say crises like this expose faults that were ignored for years: overspending, undersaving, unstable credit systems, and unrealistic financial habits. These moments force a nation to rethink how it operates and rebuild what no longer works. Some are even calling 2025 a reset point, a difficult but necessary awakening for a stronger future. Yet, even among all the expert analysis, one truth stands above everything else. This crisis is not just about money. It is about people. It's about families facing impossible choices, workers losing their jobs without warning, and business owners letting go of dreams they've held for a lifetime. These are the real stories behind the statistics. And through it all, financial experts agree on one thing: the real strength of America has never come from its wealth, but from its resilience. The United States is being tested, but it is not defeated, because every fall reveals the foundation on which a comeback is built, and every crisis holds the possibility of a rise. This is America on the edge, the struggle, the lesson, and the resilience that will define what comes next.